It's Friday, October 18th, 2024. Welcome to episode
125
of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, an apparent swatting incident locks down Alameda High. The City Council is updated on climate and waste programs. School board candidates take questions from the public. More on the Pamela Price recall vote. Some slight election law changes. A couple of new restaurants in town, and a plethora of events to choose from this weekend and beyond. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story. On Tuesday, October 15th, just before 3 p.m., Alameda Police received a call from a Veterans Affairs Crisis Hotline counselor stating that a chat message had been received from an unknown individual claiming to be in an Alameda High School restroom with a gun with the intention of causing harm. According to the City of Alameda, the high school received a similar message at the same time. Officers were dispatched to AHS, and as is standard procedure in these types of cases, a shelter-in-place order was issued for the campus. Police conducted a thorough search of the building, and no intruders were found. By 3:53, the all-clear was given, the shelter-in-place order lifted, and students released for the day. The cause of the lockdown? Sadly, a term that's become all too familiar, a swatting incident. Named for special weapons and tactics teams that police use to respond to major incidents, swatting is when a false emergency call is made with the intent of provoking a large police response. A quick search on the term shows school swatting incidents in Arizona, Connecticut, and Michigan, along with Alameda, just this week, a fact noted by the Alameda Unified School District in their follow-up report. AUSD thanked Alameda High School students and staff for quickly complying with the shelter-in-place directions, and APD for their, quote, very swift and thorough response, end quote. Likewise, APD thanked Alameda High School and AUSD faculty and staff for their support during this incident. Quote, we appreciate the cooperation and understanding from AHS students and parents while officers ensured the campus was safe. End quote. Find the story at alamedapost.com/news. In calmer news from Tuesday, City Council held a study session and provided feedback on the city's draft updates to the Climate Action and Resiliency Plan, aka CARP, and Zero Waste Implementation Plan, known as ZWIP. Alameda's CARP was adopted in 2019, aiming to reduce the city's greenhouse gas emissions by 50% below 2005 levels by the year 2030 and become carbon neutral by 2045. A 2022 emissions inventory showed the city is on pace to meet its climate goals, however additional efforts will be needed over the next 5 years to achieve that 2030 mark. Let's look at some good news. These numbers are comparing 2022 to the baseline numbers of 2005. Greenhouse gas emissions decreased by 29% despite population and job increases. Energy emissions decreased by 40%. The lion's share of that is due to Alameda Municipal Power achieving 100% carbon-free energy in 2020. Thanks to cleaner vehicles on the road, more efficient off-road equipment, and a 6% reduction in vehicle miles traveled, transportation emissions fell 25%. By far, the largest source of emissions is transportation, accounting for 62% of total. Buildings, primarily through natural gas use, account for 31%. The remaining 6% is split between solid waste and water. During the meeting, Council reviewed plans to further the reduction efforts, including increased availability of EV charging stations, community outreach, and to focus on building carbon-neutral municipal facilities like the upcoming Aquatic Center. The Zero Waste program was also reviewed. Initially in 2010, a goal was set to divert 89% of waste from landfills through reuse or recycling by 2020. We're not quite there, but Alameda has achieved an 81% diversion rate, which is a percentage point above San Francisco's claimed record level for a city. Of course, San Francisco conveniently sets the definition of a city at a minimum of 100,000 residents. For comparison's sake, the national average hovers in the mid-30s, while California itself last checked in at 42%. To help bring the rate up, staff is focusing on 3 priority areas: increased awareness and utilization of bulky item pickup, better policing of illegal dumping, and support for low-income or unhoused persons who are often unable to properly manage their waste. Staff is working to update ZWIP, while changes to CARP are expected to be presented to the Council in March. For a full look at the discussion, as well as charts and graphs showing Alameda's progress, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. On Monday, the 4 candidates for the 3 Alameda Unified School District board seats took questions in an online forum presented by the Alameda Post and the Alameda League of Women Voters. This was after the cancellation of the in-person forum that was scheduled for September 28th. Hosted by Post publisher Adam Gillett and moderated by Ann McCarrigan of the LWV, the forum saw Joyce Boyd, Malia Hall, Heather Little, and Jennifer Williams answering questions that were chosen from public submissions. The candidates did not receive the questions in advance. The topics covered: school funding and resource allocation, mental health and school safety, diversity and inclusion, faculty retention, and the concept of letting 16 and 17-year-olds vote for school board members. For a summary of the proceedings, see Jean Chen's article at alamedapost.com/news. You can also watch the forum in its entirety. Find the video at alamedapost.com/election. The Alameda Post does not endorse candidates or take position on measures. On that topic, last week I covered the story of the local police, sheriffs, and prosecutors groups uniting behind the recall effort to remove District Attorney Pamela Price. In the interest of fairness, it is important to point out that Price is receiving some notable support urging a no vote on that recall. Those supporters include the ACLU, Senator Nancy Skinner, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, and the Respect Our Vote Coalition. The anti-recall effort is being spearheaded by Protect the Win for Public Safety. You can find their website and their positions at protectthewin.org. Side note, occasionally we at the Post will receive email or a letter wondering why a particular candidate's ad appears on the site while another does not. It's fairly simple. If a candidate buys an ad, we run it. If you don't see your candidate, it means they've chosen not to advertise. Some additional election news. After the wrong winner was declared in the November 2022 election for Oakland School Board, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors quickly formed an elections commission to play both an oversight role for the county's registrar of voters and an advisory role for the board. In May, the commission passed its first resolution recommending the board direct the registrar to implement a policy of publicly releasing cast vote record reports beginning on election night, and then on each day the registrar updates the vote tally. On Monday, October 8th, the board directed the registrar to adopt the cast vote record policy. Previously, the registrar in Alameda County had released cast vote reports upon request, but only after the election results were certified 30 days after the election. A programming error by the registrar led to incorrect tallies, which were eventually revealed by the group Fair Vote using the cast vote records after the fact. 2 lawsuits, a judge's order, and a resignation later, the true winner assumed office. The new policy should prevent this kind of error going forward, since there will essentially be a running tally from the start, similar to the system San Francisco has in place. Representatives from all sides approved the move, saying it will enhance transparency, accountability, accuracy, and confidence in election results. For full details and a timeline of what led to the change, see Irene Dieter's article at alamedapost.com/news. In episode 123, I told you about the long-anticipated opening of Jollibee, the popular Philippines-based fast food chain. With lines around the building, the big event was last Thursday. The first 100 customers were eligible for a monthly free chicken sandwich for a year. That line formed early, with Alameda resident Chin the first in line at 2:30 a.m. Meet the folks who woke up early to wait in line at the 75th American location of Jollibee's. See Jean Chen's article at alamedapost.com/features. Another restaurant opened for business, this one with roots closer to home. Remember the old Little House Cafe with the iconic Wicked Witch shoes? As noted in episode 119, the folks behind the cafe are now running Moxie's Steakhouse on Park. And what was Little House is now Shaka Shack, run by Donald Kubish and Amy Griffith, the married couple behind the Locos Only food truck. The focus at Shaka is on all things Hawaiian. Donald is from Hawaii. His father owned a restaurant there. You'll find Hawaiian breakfast, malasadas, shave ice, and coffee from Signal. They also featured live music. The goal for Shaka, as Amy Griffith says, quote, "We want to be a bright spot for people. We really want to be a place where people can come have good food and a good experience," end quote. You'll be happy to know that Donald and Amy will be continuing their holiday pie tradition started with a Locos truck. Find Shaka Shack open for breakfast and lunch at 2300 Blanding. Kelsey Gores has the full story this coming Monday with pictures at alamedapost.com/features. So much going on this weekend and this month. As always, Amanda Laird has a great preview of events that deserve your attention with her weekly all-around Alameda column. Let's take a look at some of them. Show some love to the Alameda Comedy Club as they present their all-star comedy jam, 10 comics each night, Friday and Saturday. The Donut Fun Run and Festival, Saturday the 19th at the Alameda Point Taxiway. East Bay Children's Theater is bringing Curiouser and Curiouser, the Alice in Wonderland musical, to the Elks Lodge Sunday at 2 p.m., one show only. This one looks neat. Professors and Pints presents A Monster Made by Human Hands, a lecture about the origins of the Hebrew mythology of the golem. That's coming up Wednesday at Faction Brewing. Find Amanda's column at alamedapost.com/features. For even more events, check 94501.info. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. Find us on all the usual social media channels, and don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 126 of the Alameda Postcast.